Hey, what's up? David here with After VideoFX, and welcome back to the channel. And it's been a while since I've done the tutorial. Hope everyone's been doing well. It's just been quite busy just outside of the YouTube world, but I've got some time to make a simple tutorial. And we're just going to make this ocean scene here inside of Blender. I'm using 4.0 here, and it's a really simple setup. I mean, like, anyone can do it, and but it took a bit of time just to experiment with the lighting and the HDRs, but I think I managed to get one that looks relatively decent and content for this scene. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So here's what we're going to be creating. Okay, so I hope you enjoy that. So we're gonna make that scene we just saw. So I've got a blank scene set up using Blender 4.0, and I'm just gonna delete the default cube, and I'm gonna add in a new plane. We'll scale it by 2. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is add the ocean modifier. Okay, so it looks like this. Looks pretty good, and we're gonna set it by 2 by 2, so we get a bit of size here, and we're gonna change some of these settings. So we're gonna make it scale 2. We will definitely increase the rendered viewport, so I'm gonna go 30. 16, and then I think for the render I had like 40. So basically what this is what we're going to see in the viewport and what the resolution for what we're going to see in the render. So that's just the key difference. But I think if you've got a good GPU, you can see it, the final result. But my GPU is a little old-fashioned, so I'm going to keep it at 16 for now, or maybe 10, something like that. Okay, we'll just hide the lamp for now. And okay, so maybe increase the choppiness so it looks a bit more tighter. So you can see these curves are getting a little bit more tight. And that's it. Okay. One last thing we can do is set a keyframe for the time. So we'll put one here. Scrub along. I'm going to go 200, and we're going to turn this up to like 20. And we'll set a keyframe for there. Okay, so we got this nice water action happening. Okay, and that's pretty much how we set up the ocean, and the rest is just lighting and HDRs. So very simple setup. So what we can do is split this view here, and we can do our shader, and we'll make new material for this, and we'll just name this ocean, and we'll name this ocean material. Oh, by the way, the shortcut key to naming your layers is just F2. So yeah, that's a nice shortcut key in case you want to remember it. And if we go into our render view, we'll use cycles, my GPU, and I don't know why by default it goes up to crazy high, but whatever. Okay, so what I'm going to do is turn the roughness down, maybe to 0.1, and then turn the transmission all the way up. Okay, so we get that water-based look. And I'm going to go with like a nice light blue color, so like that's pretty good. Okay, and oh, one more thing I forgot is to turn on foam for my ocean modifier, and we'll just get 0.2. This is just telling us how much foam we want. So I want roughly about 0.2. It's quite sensitive, so just leave that at that. And we'll call this layer foam. Easy. Okay, back to the shader. Let's add a attribute node. Let's add a color ramp node. Oh, if I can spell. that, and let's add a emission, and we'll do one more mix shader. Okay, so we'll plug this guy into here, this into here, this into here, that into that, and that's it. Okay, so it's looking relatively weird, but that's because we've got this color ramp. So if I name this layer foam, you can see now we've got the foam happening here. So what we want to do is just crush some of that. It's looking a little too much at the moment. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And what we might do is maybe just turn all the roughness all the way down. Yeah, and then we'll crush more of that foam. We don't need too much. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so we can move on to a HDR, and what we're going to do is grab the environment texture, plug that into the color, and hit Control T. And if that doesn't work for some reason, just be sure to have Node Wrangler on in your add-ons. So just check that, and then that'll be all good. What I'm going to do is open up my shader, and I think the one that I used was I think it was Clue Fendel. Yeah, one of these guys, because I just wanted to grab it because of the sun. And yeah, okay, and then we'll get the sun, what was it, sky texture, sorry, not sun, and we'll get a mix vector, mix the color, and we'll plug this into that. Just have a look at this for now. And I think the values that I used was, well, I'm just going to go off for what I did in my project file. So 1.07, 1.462, 3.385. Okay. Sun size 3, sun intensity 0.2, sun elevation 3, and sun rotation, well, apparently it was 132, but like, I'll just leave it like that for now in case I need it, sort of like that. Okay, and then I'm going to add a hue saturation, just plug it in there and make it like maybe like 1.3. Okay, and I might do the same for my HDR here, so I might just drop it to 1. And then what I can do is mix these two together, so and then drop that into here. But I want majority of the sky to appear, so I think I will put like 1.1. Okay, so that's pretty much how I set up my scene here. I might get like a curves adjustment and just darken that a bit, get a bit of contrast happening. Speaking of contrast, I might actually change my color management to high contrast. Okay, so majority of the light's coming this way, so I might rotate my sun so that it's coming from this side. Okay, So 132, yeah, so it was exactly where I was. Okay. Okay, so put the noise on. So that's looking pretty good at the moment. I might turn on my lamp here. And then what I can do is just shine some light onto this. I'll make it a sunlight, like that. And I just gotta find a nice camera angle, so we can just go into my shader view. And we'll just Control-Alt-0, that's what makes. And I'm gonna actually do something different. I'm gonna make this, flip these dimensions. So we get a nice camera look. And then for my camera, I think I made it a pretty wide camera. I think I made it like 40 millimeters, so like that. And what I'll do is I'm gonna lower the camera like that, and just rotate it up. So what I might do is actually change this to my 3D port, and then I can use this to change some of it. And I'll make this relative local. So if I look at this, something around here is pretty good. Actually, I might go over this hump and then just drop it. And just like push it up a bit. And then just drop it down. So we have this nice ocean look. Just want to make sure that it's not cutting the camera. Might make this like a little wider, so 38. Or maybe 36. Okay. Let's have a look at this. Okay. And then I want to raise this sun, so maybe I'll just... Okay, and then I'll raise the sun up a little bit. So I'll just adjust that. Okay, so I did a bit of fiddles with the rotation of the HDR and some sky texture rotation. So this is the look I've got. I can't make it exactly how I made it initially, but I'm just surprised it looks pretty close. And upon that, I didn't realize this, but the sun's actually up here. So I'm actually getting good lighting, fake lighting here to illuminate these crevices here. So that's looking pretty good. The reason why it looks so bad because I left my resolution of the ocean pretty low, so I'll just turn it up a bit to see how it looks. So it's looking not too bad. One final thing I want to do is add a depth of field to this, so I might just add, to put my cursor there, I just hit Shift S, and I'll move the cursor. Okay, and I just want to get a empty. I'll just get a set of empty arrows, doesn't really matter. Scale it up. And then I'll just name this depth of field points. Like that. And what I can do is get this camera depth of field point. I'll turn this down to like 1. So we get depth of field here. Okay, so I'm going to turn on motion blur. So just play around with this. Okay. Light paths. I'm actually gonna halve this because like there's not really much going on. So volume transparent, and I'm gonna turn off all this. Don't really need it. Film performance. I'm gonna use 256 tiling. So that's pretty good for my render. I actually didn't use the denoise. I just used the 240. And I made it like 0.1, so it speeds up a little bit. I did do a test render, and then this was the fastest, so that was it. So render region, I made it 25 frames. You can decide how long you want this. I think I did like 350 or something like this. Yeah, most of these I just left it the same. Motion blur, even I left it the same as well. Viewport. Yeah, that was all finished. So once you done that, you can just do a quick render. Be sure to have that ocean modifier at like 40, and I'm just gonna pick a frame here. We'll just go with I don't know. Let's just pick something simple. Let's go with this one and just hit F12 and let that render, and we'll go on to the compositing stage. Okay, so here's my render. I had to change my noise threshold to 0.6 because my GPU ran out, and this is looking pretty good. I mean, it looks, I hate to admit it, but it looks kind of better than my initial one. But anyway, that's besides the point. You guys are getting the better version. Let's go into the compositing tab now, and we'll just use nodes. And all right, let's have a look at this. So we'll get the viewer. Just plug that in. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So just hit V for vanilla, and then you can hit Alt V to zoom in. All right. So let's start with something really obvious. So we'll get the ellipse mask tool. And we're just gonna put it in here. I'm gonna cut this off. So to cut is just hit Control and then right click. That's gets the knife tool and just cuts everything. All right. Just make this like 0.9 by 0.9. Okay. And I'm gonna get the blur effect. We'll make a relative, and we'll just make it 50 by 50. All right, cool. We'll get the mix color. Just overlay that with that and hit multiply. Or was it the other way around? I don't think it matters. No, doesn't. I don't know. Okay, cool. So that's my vignette, and I can adjust that however I want to. Alright, so I want to get some the indirect lighting to get illuminated because it's a little dark right now. So what I can do is turn on my diffuse indirect. I think it was diffuse. No, it was glossy. Okay, so if I have a look at this, oh, I have to render it, so just give me a minute, I'll re-render this. Okay, so I re-rendered it. It should have it now, so there it is. So that's all of my indirect lighting. Okay, so I want to grab the exposure effect, plug that in, and just brighten it up a little bit. Okay, and grab the curves adjustment, give it a bit of contrast. Okay, and we'll just duplicate this, and we'll change it to screen. Plug that in, and plug that to the composite as well. So it's, you can see here. So if I just put this in, yeah, those those like little spectacle areas will start to appear a bit better. Okay, cool. And then what we can do after that is add our glare. And we'll definitely make it far glow. Turn it to high quality. So the threshold, I might just turn it up and set that to 6. It does take a bit of time to render, I have to admit, but oh well. And we'll add a color balance to this. And we'll just play around with the color here. So we'll put this a bit more on the blue side. Even the gamma and the gain, I want to put it like around the orange. So something like that. Alright, and then we'll add a RGB curves. Give this a little bit of contrast. Okay. Take away some red. Just a little bit. Add a bit of blue. Okay. And finally, we'll add a hue and saturation just to tie it down together. So I'm thinking like 0.85 as my saturation value. Oh, it didn't even go in. Maybe even 0.82. And put that into the composite. And there's no alpha, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so that is my final composite here. That looks not too bad. Yep, so you can adjust some of this a bit. I might set to 1 by 1 to spread out that vignette. Yep, and the depth of field and motion blur is in place. And that's it. That's how I generated this ocean look. So feel free to make your own adjustments to this. So you can go back to your layer here. Maybe you can turn down the samples or the turn up the threshold, or you can even, if you have a monster GPU, you can even turn this up to like 50 if you want, or even higher. Change around the scale, whatever you want to do. Feel free. It's all relative. Art is basically 3D art, especially. So thanks again. It's good to be back. Hopefully, I'll be making some more content tutorials. I've got a few ideas, so just be patient with me, and hopefully I'll get those released. Anyway, guys, my name's David. I hope you learned interesting techniques that you can use for your own creations. Please give a like if you like this video so people can find it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And be sure to hit that bell button to get the notifications. I will see you in the next video.